community. This time we merge the two, and we have the privilege to have two speakers in our session. The first speaker is joining us online, Janne Villumsen from DEIF, and our second speaker will be in the room on stage, and that is Daniel Gillblad. I am not supposed to say anything else for now other than most welcome, and then Janne, please go ahead and introduce yourself, and most welcome to the session.
Thank you, Helena. My name is Janne Villumsen, and I'm a VP at DEIF for the specialists, but also for the program and portfolio department. And thank you for the invite. I hope I can share a little light on what we are doing here at DEIF. So I'll just start out saying a bit about how our ways of working are, and as a subtitle, we have this site in a DEIF context, how we are utilizing the knowledge that lies there. I'll be telling a little bit about the journey, why we are where we are today and what we have done, and also a bit about how we have organized and how we work for creating value. And then I'll touch a little bit about how to get the market insights to the product or platform features. And then wrap up with a little of the challenges that we have faced and the benefits that we have achieved. And here we are talking about product development projects. I think, sorry, here we are. Where we come from is we have had traditional project management. We have used some agile methods where to some extent Scrum and sprints, as many know, but we had this challenge of the scope being fixed and changes coming in and having to be run through change requests. And we had releases not until the end of the projects. And we had a little focus on the synergy between the different projects. And we saw that as a big missing link between those. So we looked for another good practice to support our software platform development. And looking around, we came upon SAFe, a framework for agile ways of working, been known for many years, and it has focused on cross-functional collaboration, which is what we also looked into. SAFe is a big framework, and we have focused on, or starting with the essential, where we have focused on three important elements: the program backlog, the art, the agile release train, and then the program increment, or the PI, which is how we plan for a 3-month duration. And if you want to know more about SAFe, then I think they have a pretty cool website with an abundance of information. Just search for it and then it will come up. It's a very interesting site. So what we did was that we built a train. We had all the silos, all the different functional areas in DEIF. And what we did was that we, so to speak, loaded a lot of teams and people on the train. And we are now around 80 to 200 people working on the train or closely related from, across all the silos, more or less. So having the people on board, we still need a plan to go forward. And here we use the program increment, or the PI planning, as it's also known as, or big room planning, where we have a fixed time box for planning, building, and validating a full system increment. And what we like about it is that we start sharing the vision. On this picture, it's the product manager explaining what is it that the business would like to have. Next, we align the business with the development through these PI objectives that are created at the end of the planning. And then we have this transparency that we create with the common program board or the plan, and how we have our dependencies among the different teams to work on. And besides having this plan, we can also say the benefit is that we have this collaboration. It nurtures the collaboration, and what we have at DEIF are working a lot on this winning together to be all across DEIF, all the functions. And on this last picture, you see the product manager with specialists and VPs and test manager, and they're all working together during these 2 days where we do the planning. So now we have a plan, and then we need to look into how do we keep the train on the tracks. And here we have some ceremonies, or we can also call them meetings or workshops. We have the Scrum Masters for each team meeting weekly to coordinate the dependencies. We have the product owners and the product management to each week discuss the progress. Is everything going as it should, or do we need to replan something? And then we have, on a bi-weekly basis, we have the teams to present the created value to the stakeholders, mainly the business, but also to others in the development functions, and receive relevant feedback on what they have achieved. So instead of having just this one project, what we have done is to put multiple projects into one plan and try to coordinate it, and having this shared vision for all of them, having the business agility as well, and the business value coming out of it. And then we also like to link it. We are between this running projects for products and then going more towards this platform development. So we are in between, and this is how we try to link it in the period until we can be full on platform development, if as it is in the vision that we should be. So here we have the three projects, and then we also have the depth deliveries. That's our software platforms, where we have software deliveries coming every 3 months, and we can do that on a regular basis, also delivering for products that are already in the market. So this is still very much like a project plan. So more looking into the future, we are going to look more at how do we have this EPICS roadmap. I can see it might be a bit difficult to read, but on top we have the software platform, and then we have our hardware form factors. And then we have all the way in the top, we have the milestones. So how do we plan for software to deliver to hardware form factors into a product that we can sell to the market? So this is more the view that we are going to have in the future. So instead of the projects, then we have the software deliveries and the form factors, and thus showing multiple products. And also looking toward the future, we have the 2 inner circles there from SAFE, and we have been running that, but we have also used our own experience to see we need a 3rd circle. Then in December 21, we established the governance board to ensure the implementation of agile ways of working and the platform thinking. And then here in December, we had we created a team for planning and coordination between to really ensure the planning and coordination between the 3 projects with the software deliveries to ensure this overview and alignment that was required. And next year we'll evaluate if we should have this program manager role to continue to have maybe one person being responsible for ensuring this continuous alignment between project managers, line managers, and specialists to keep the overview, the good learnings that we have had from our experience. The next is the setup. This is much what we have been done until now, but the setup, as I said, we are in transition from product projects to more platform development. So in this transition, we need to look into, we have on the top, you see the standard project management team, and below you have our platform development. And as such, as we see it until now, where the other the other deliverers come from departments, and the software deliverable comes from the platform. And here we have that the project manager coordinate with both the platform manager or the release train engineer, as it's called in SAFe, and the product manager to create the overall project plan. The product manager from the business, he has a responsibility and creates the high-level overview of the following quarterly releases. That's what we call the PI roadmap. Each of these backlogs are for 3 months. So that's what he's working with, and the closer the backlog is to being executed, the more detailed and refined it will be. What is out in the future is more volatile and can be changed by the business if they see that they need to act on some market situation. So that is the overview that the product manager has. The release train engineer has the overview of the running PI or program increment with the program backlog, which is taken from I've tried to show that it is taken out of this PI roadmap. So this is how it works for now. And it has, we're working on it, and it is work in process or progress, you can say. We have in this 3 levels of engagement: strategic, tactical, and operational, different perspectives and different interests. If you have the strategic level, we have the project managers coming with projects to this strategic board. And we also may have some strategic initiatives that comes into our portfolio backlog. And we have the business owners being our CEO and CXX deciding what we should work with. So, and the next is, how do you get from this strategic level to the tactical level? And this is here where the product management goes in, look at the portfolio backlog and says, well, what is it that we need to have developed? And this is mainly software we're talking here. So they put it into the backlogs, and we have the timing from the PI roadmap. And prior to doing this, of course, we have had some high-level estimates on the features that needs to be developed. These are given by our specialists to have some sort of idea how long time a feature is going to require to be developed. And then when we go to the tactical level, you can say we have this PI planning, this big room planning, where the business comes with the features that they need to have developed, and the development area comes with enablers that is required, and it can come from if you have bug fixing you need to do, or you need to refactor something in the code. So all this is being this big room planning is being merged into this program backlog that the release train engineer is managing. And this program backlog is then being made more operational. The teams go in and say, well, we need to create these user stories, and they put the user stories into each team has a backlog of tasks, so they put it into their backlog and they plan it and make this big overall plan. And then of course, during this 3-month period, they in the release train, they build and test and release these features into packages for different products. So this was a bit about the setup. The next I will try and say a little bit about is design thinking, which is I have borrowed some slides from our excellent specialists. So and I've adjusted them a bit, so they might shoot me afterwards. I hope not, but you never know. So design thinking, here we have also looked towards SAFe, and we have made some iterations on how to utilize the methods and how to make it work in our context. So starting with this double diamond, you have you can say a big phase with discovery, where you understand the problem, you open it up and put in more perspectives on it, and then you close it down again. Then you start to look at how can we design the right solution. And when you have made your feature specification, you put it into this program backlog for prioritization. And then finally on the PI planning, you put it into the development. The developers start to work with it, having this program increment, so they build the solution right. Next, you have a lot of I think I just need one more. Yeah, you have a lot of roles and tasks going in. In the top, you have the program managers. What are the roles and tasks for the business to carry out? The blue ones are for the specialists to look into the domain. The product managers look into the market. The specialists look into the domain, and we have our architects also to investigate how is this going to fit with our software architecture. So these are the roles that are involved, the product managers, the architects, and other specialists in this part of the discovery. And next you have even more people coming in. We have some management, we have product owners, we look at our HMI, and they use these are just examples of tools or methods that they use in this period, but it's because they have proved useful. But it may be others, but they have, for instance, used this Shisa Kanko. I'll show an example of that later on, but also developing all these user stories and enablers to put into the backlog. And then we have the product managers are more out there here to review. Oh, I'm a bit behind, I see. The product managers are not as visible here. We have more the specialists going in and supporting the teams in the development, reviewing what is coming out. I said we have these system demos every 2 weeks, and we also have the developers in, of course, and doing the actual development. And then in the end, we have the sign-off from both the specialist and the product management. A little bit about the timing. This is also one of the areas that they have worked on. how long time they use in each stage or phase. But it varies, and it depends how big or complex a feature is. It might lie there for a little longer time if it requires more time. And then lastly, it's a bit about the tooling that they have been using. Oh, sorry. We use AHA for the customer journey and profiles. It's mainly a tool for the product managers and the specialists. We have the mirror board to do some, being more creative about the solution that we need to design, and also having this AHA feature board to make sure what should go into the various releases. And we have the planning, and finally the content of AHA, the features, go into Jira as the user stories that the developers work with. Yes, I think that is mainly it. And I promised an example of this Shisakanko. Example of them on the Miro board they use. It's more like they go in and they invite everyone who has some knowledge on this or maybe should use it and what is important, and everyone can chip in and add comments and what to look on and how should it look. This is going from this is the synchroscope that we have, going from some simple to more complex discovery sessions where there are more opinions and pros and cons and what needs to be considered. Yes, and then I'm actually I promised Helena I would be speed talking if I thought it would take too long, so I'm already I'm already at the wrap up, where we say, of course, we have had some challenges, and I say that bridging this product projects with a software platform has been one of the major challenges that we have had. Of course, it is a transition time, but it may last 2 to 3 years before we are all changed to where we want to go, and then we probably want to go somewhere else, and we'll be in another transition. I see it happening all the time. So I guess that is what we need to get used to. We need to get used to that things changes all the time. That's the only constant. And then we have this product owner role that has also been challenging. And I have heard from other companies that they have also found this challenging. And for us, it's a little bit lack of capacity and knowledge on the various software areas to fully go in and support the team, but also on the lower levels of the software, but also understanding the business. So this bridging, this understanding, it is troublesome, and we are not there yet, but we're working with it. And I think we need to put more effort into solving this, because as I can hear, it has been disrupting this process in other companies because it didn't make it work. So I think it's really important to put some effort into this one.
Janne, yeah? May I interrupt you?
Yes.
Sorry. We have people waving in the room. Could I make room for a question, and would you be fine with stopping here and then maybe elaborate on the question instead? We need to wrap up. I know we were a few minutes late, but in interest of time, we have many people in this room driving big transformations, and I would love for them to have the opportunity. But I would first want to thank you so much for the talk.
Thank you.
Please, Jan, go ahead.
Yeah, I waved in a very nice way. Sorry. Yeah, I have a question. I think that you are also in the mecha software industry, if I dare to call it so. And it means that you will have two ways of developing. One is when you have new products which are not really compatible with continuous development yet. They are sort of on their way out on the field. And then you also have the opportunity to do continuous development on your products on the field. These two types of development are kind of different. One is sort of industrialization of, you have to make this new thing compatible with continuous development. Should we treat those two fields differently? This is not really covered by SAFE as I know it. I hope you understand the question.
Yes, and I think this is also one of the challenges that we have had, that right now we are also running a project with a totally new product. And of course, you have the market or the salespersons, they want to know when can we have the product. And it's not entirely compatible with SAFE, where you say, well, we do things as fast as we can, and then when it's ready, you can have it. So right now, this week, we have had the PI planning, and it is a bit about saying, well, for this new product released next year, we need to have these features, and we need, instead of just saying, oh, if we don't make it this PI, we push it to the next PI. We have to say, no, we need to have at least some of it, this PI, and then time box it instead. It's not entirely the agile way of doing it, but it is a compromise that we need to make. And yes, this is also one of the challenges that we have. And I don't know if I cannot say we are not totally agile on that, because we are also making this this compromise by saying that then we need to time box. Then we need to say for this feature we do this number of user stories, and then we push the rest for later.
We will open up for a last quick question. Anna Sandberg from Ericsson has a question for you.
Previous Ericsson.
Sorry, previous Ericsson. Now Volvo Cars.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. Thank you for a very nice presentation. And I think it's perfectly fine to time box when you're agile. But my question is, I saw that you manage to both have the defect backlog, the refactoring backlog, and the feature backlog into the PIs, which is very impressive, very good. So how do you manage to do the prioritizations there?
Well, we have
very
this
short response.
Yes. SAFE also says that you should make the split, an agreed split between what is features and what are enablers. So we have decided this split with the business, so they know how much capacity they have in each PI, and then we use the rest for the things that we need to have developed. And then on the PI where we may not know which defects that comes in, we have reserved the capacity for doing it during the quarter.
Thank you so much, Janne. Thank you for the presentation, and thanks for joining us, and have a good rest of today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.